Well, the pain at the pump remains elevated as talks to strike a deal with Iran are set to reconvene this week ahead of Wednesday's ceasefire expiration. President Donald Trump, he issued fresh threats Sunday on the Islamic Republic. Trump says Iran violated the ceasefire agreement when it fired on cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz Saturday, as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed it closed the vital waterway. A big reversal of a Friday announcement that it had agreed to open the strait. Now, the Center Square's Washington, D.C. Bureau Chief Sarah Roderick Fitch reports representatives will arrive Monday for those talks as negotiations continue. The president, he posted to social media over the weekend, quote, "We're offering a very fair and reasonable deal." And he says that he hopes that they take it because if they don't, he says the United States is going to, quote, "knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran," end quote. Now, while there was some relief in gas prices, they barely nudged downward during that nearly 2-week ceasefire. AAA shows that the current average for regular is $4.04 a gallon. That's down from last week, but up from last month and up about 30% from a year ago when it was $3.10 for an average. Now, while prices have decreased by roughly 7 cents over the last week, they remain near the highest levels since August 2022, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In June 2022, about 4 months after that invasion, the price of gasoline in the U.S. reached roughly $5.01 per gallon, which would be about $5.46 per gallon today if you adjust for inflation. Now, in 2008, when the U.S. imported significant amounts of oil, the price per gallon reached $4.11, and in today's dollars, that would be more than $6 per gallon. Now, after adjusting for inflation, U.S. prices remain relatively low when compared to past crises. But one question persists: why energy dominance hasn't lowered the price, or at least yet? The Center Square's Alton Wallace reports even though the U.S. is the world's largest oil producer, crude oil is a globally traded commodity. And American producers sell their oil to the highest bidders worldwide. And if conflict in the Strait of Hormuz or in the Middle East threatens 20% of the world's supply, then global traders bid up prices everywhere. Walton also goes on to tell us that analysts at J.P. Morgan and the NRDC point to recent U.S. military conflicts with Iran as the primary driver of today's gasoline prices. Since the time the war began, price for the benchmark West Texas intermediary, it went from $70 to about $120 per barrel, adding an estimated $153 per household in monthly fuel costs. There's also bottlenecks in the refining process. Getting oil out of the ground, that's just part of it. But you've got refineries across the country and some planned closures, such as Phillips 66's Los Angeles facility and a recent accident at the Valero refinery in Port Arthur, Texas, causing all kinds of curtailment of some production. Now, what is it like around the world? Of course, we're seeing those elevated prices here, but in Paris, France, if you were going to get a gallon of gas in France, it would come out to about $8.20 in U.S. dollars. In London, it's about $7.50 per gallon. In Japan, you're looking at about $4.75 U.S. dollars per gallon of gas. And in South Korea, it's about $5.23 per gallon in U.S. dollars. So why is the pain at the pump feeling so acute at this time? Well, even if prices aren't at a 40-year record, you've got the current spike and the significance of it at a rapid pace, and you're feeling that at the pump. Gasoline prices rose very rapidly during the 7 weeks after the war started with Iran. And this is just some of the analysis you can find at thecentersquare.com. We'll keep you updated on both what's happening with those Iran talks and the ongoing crunch of those energy prices.